Are you traveling to Iceland in 2021 and you want to know exactly what the COVID restrictions are and what you need to know to get into Iceland in 2021? Well, you're in the perfect place because this is exactly what we're going to be talking about today so that you know everything you need to know before you head to Iceland this year. You ready? Let's go. All right, so before I get started on this, I need to let you know that it is the end of July 2021. There has already been some changes to the Iceland requirements from yesterday to today. So you need to make sure that regardless of what I say today, you double check. You look at these websites such as Reopen EU to make sure you know the most up-to-date information about travel to Iceland before you go on your vacation. All right, so Iceland has gone through some changes over time. They were allowing vaccinated without testing, but they've changed that recently. As of July 27th, they are requiring you to be vaccinated and have a negative test. So if you're vaccinated, you still have to have a negative test within 72 hours of your arrival, or actually of your departure to Iceland. So it needs to be a PCR or antigen test 72 hours within your departure. You're going to need to have a physical copy of your negative test, your vaccine card, and you're gonna have to show that to the airline before you board your airline, and then you're also gonna show it at the border when you arrive in Iceland. They also have a survey that you can do, and I've linked that below, which walks you through the whole thing. Are you vaccinated, or are you not? Or what country are you from? This is what is needed, and this is how it's gonna go. Now, currently, if you are not vaccinated, you are only allowed to enter if you have a specific relationship with Iceland or other EU nations. So make sure you do that survey, because if you have no relation to any of that, you're not going to be allowed to go. So if you're planning a trip to Iceland and you aren't vaccinated, you really need to look at those things and make sure that you have the right relationship so that you can actually get into the country. All right, so you're vaccinated, you got your test, you've made it into Iceland. So what can you expect? Well, it's a lot like most other countries right now. There are mask mandates for indoors, not maybe as much for outdoors, and sometimes that varies based on where you are. A lot of things are open, such as museums and parks and beaches and tourism type places. But they will require social distancing. So you are going to need to have your mask, not only for the airplane, but in the country. All right, so for your trip to Iceland, there are a few more things that you need to know to make sure everything goes smoothly and that you have a fantastic vacation. These are my top tips for any travel to Iceland in 2021. The first is know and plan that there's going to be chaos in the airports. Just know it's going to be a thing, because there are going to be lines, extra long lines when you're leaving, because there's extra things that all of the agents and everybody's going to have to be testing and checking and doing. But also when you arrive in customs, it is taking a lot longer through customs because there's so many more things that they're checking and taking. So just plan that it's going to be a long day. Your travel day is going to be a long day. Get to the airport super early. Know when you get to the Iceland, it's going to be a long wait in the customs line, and just plan for it. Do not plan any activities on your travel day. Keep that day open, because whether it takes you 30 minutes or 8 hours, and there's some places that are taking 8 hours to get through customs, you aren't feeling like you're rushing to get to something or you're missing something. So just keep that day open. Know there's going to be lines. Plan for that. Bring some things to do in line. Bring some snacks, things to keep you occupied, and just plan for it and build it into your vacation so that it's not a stressful situation and you get through it and everything is fine. All right, the other huge thing is check your passport. If it expires within 6 months of your travel date, you have to renew it before you go. You cannot travel if your passport expires within 6 months. You can't. So you're going to have to renew it. Now, you have to know right now, passports are taking up to 18 weeks to be renewed and also to get new ones. It's taking forever because everyone and their mother is trying to get their passports right now. If you are traveling within 18 weeks and your passport expires within 6 months, you might want to push your vacation out, honestly, because it's going to take a long time to get your passport. So just make sure you check your passport expiration and you renew it early so that you're plenty covered so that you can make it to Iceland without any worries or problems. All right, the other thing people are not necessarily thinking about, because they're so worried about the restrictions and requirements to get into that country, they're not necessarily considering what it takes to get back home again. And so there are restrictions for even residents to be able to make it home. Now, I don't know for sure other countries, but I know in the US, they are requiring a negative test within 72 hours of your return to the US, which means you need to plan to be tested in Iceland. And I have actually heard of people recently that were unable to get their test on time and it got delayed and they didn't get their results quickly enough and got stranded in Iceland. So you definitely want to make sure you're planning for that ahead of time. By that, I mean research, call ahead, call your concierge at your hotel, ask where you can get your test. If you can make an appointment, make an appointment. If it's a 72-hour window, make sure you're doing it kind of on the end of that 72, like meaning as early in that 72 as you can get away with. That way you have plenty of time to get your results back before you have to fly. But make sure you're very mindful of that 72-hour hard limit. But call ahead and find out where you can get your test. Some hotels, for instance, are doing the testing in the hotel. Make sure you know exactly where you're going to get it and make an appointment. A lot of places are taking walk-ins, but the problem with that is that there's huge lines for those walk-in places. And so that's an entire other day of your vacation spent standing in line. So if you can find a place that takes an appointment, that would be much better. The next tip is to buy travel insurance. Of any other year, 2021 is the most important for you to have travel insurance. And I've actually made a video about it, which I'll link above. You need to make sure that you have a company that will protect you for COVID. So whether you get sick with it or there's a spike where you're going and you need to get out of there, some of them, they're going to be limited in what they cover, but make sure they at least cover something so that you have some protection COVID related. The other reason for travel insurance is it helps you if there's a medical emergency, dental emergency, things get lost or stolen, you get stranded, your trip is delayed. It just helps protect your investment, helps protect your person, your health, and your life. So it's super important. We have a specific insurance agency that we recommend. Reason is they do have COVID coverage policies that they allow. There are some caveats to that, but they do have some protection in COVID situations. They also have adventure, they call it adventure, but protections that other travel insurance companies don't have. Little things like hiking or kayaking, they sometimes, the other agencies don't cover if you get hurt during those things. This company that we recommend does cover all of that, which is why we chose this company as our recommended company, and I've linked that below. So if you're interested, you can take a look, or if you go to any other travel insurance company, make sure you're checking for those things, COVID and any activities that you might be doing. All right, so as this is the year of being over-prepared, always be over-prepared, over-organized. Make sure that you are making reservations at absolutely anything you possibly can. If you can make a reservation ahead of time or buy a ticket or make an appointment ahead of time, do it. Because a lot of times when you get to that country, there might not be the capacity. They have limited capacities. They might be booked already because every place is getting crowded up the wahoo because everybody's traveling. The other thing is to bring hard copies of everything. Bring out printed copies of your testing, your original vaccine card, your hotel reservation, your flight ticket, because there are times when your phone dies and you won't be able to access it on your phone, or the QR readers aren't working. So you want to have hard copies as a backup, as extra redundancies to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. And then my last tip is to be organized. Again, organize, prep, just be the most organized you've ever been in your entire life if you're traveling in 2021. We've actually created a resource to help you out. It has some worksheets so you make sure you don't forget anything. It covers, oh, what about this? What about this? But it also has some of our top guidelines for planning those things and different resource links. So if that's of interest to you, I've linked that below. And you can download that and print it out and have it available for you. Alrighty, so that is everything you need to know for going to Iceland in 2021. I've also made this video here, which covers going to Europe at all and some of those helpful tips to make sure everything runs smoothly in the year of chaos. And other than that, if there's any other locations you'd like to hear about, please be sure to put that in the comments and I'll add that to my video list. And other than that, thanks so much for coming by, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.